coalition ever since the elections that took place on December 11, 2016, and the government that came to power in 2017. This togetherness of ours, this progressive togetherness, faced numerous challenges that have only one common name, only one and single factor of encouragement, only one center of coordination and inspiration, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is Russia. If you remember, during the incidents in parliament, there was a Russian from the Russian officials in the parliament, together with a colleague from our neighborhood, that encouraged those who protested to go into the parliament building and lynch the MPs, the new prime minister to be, and all present in the parliament building. At that time, even the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Lavrov, and his spokesperson, Zakharova, even President Putin, who knew every single village in the Republic of Macedonia and mentioned them in his international interviews. And he said that the fiery crossroads for Russia when it comes to NATO enlargement is Macedonia. This is a statement that I'm citing, and it was made by Mr. Lavrov, and after that it was followed by Mr. Putin, who even mentioned a village of Grushino near Kumanovo. I cannot even imagine how he knows all these villages in this country, to incite inter-ethnic tensions and conflicts that led up to the incidents that, tragic incidents took place in our cities. Then, apart from these statements, we all saw that they were against the Great Framework Agreement and the PRESMA Agreement, and I did everything in their power to not have this agreement signed. We all witnessed all the protests and everything that went on in the parliament and in the streets of the capital, but also in the homes of our MPs and their families. They were also against the amendments to the Constitution that were aimed at ending the decade dispute that we had with our neighbor Greece and our becoming members of NATO. Let me go on with Ukraine. The safety and energy and price crisis, they all have one name, Russia. So does the inflation and the Russian military aggression against Ukraine, and the last war in Europe following World War II, that is a war of such a scale. If you remember, there were protests against the good neighborly relations agreement with Bulgaria, also motivated by or encouraged by Russian elements in our society. Maybe everyone will think that I'm exaggerating here, but all we said has proven to be true. If you remember, the largest infrastructural project in the country since our independence, the construction of the corridors 8 and 10, was obstructed precisely by Russia, and we lost 1 year after we signed the agreement, exactly because of a Russian company that entered the procedure, disturbing the entire process of the largest program, because this corridor actually destroys the monopoly of corridor 10. And whose corridor is that? Let's go on. I can see the representative of the Islamic religious community is there any influence, Russian influence, in our religious communities and in our media? You know the answer better than me. Is there Russian influence in the NGOs in our society? You all know that, yes, there is. There are Russian elements, Russian opponents doing everything they can to obstruct the work of a progressive parliamentary majority and coalition that wants to see this country a member of EU and in an endless friendship with the United States. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, we are trying to build the European front, a front of togetherness, of progressive forces in the country that, in spite of all the mistakes that we made in these 2, 3, 4 years and even in the previous term, will be forgiven because we're sacrificing ourselves, our careers, and we're not trying to be populist, but make decisions that will set the foundations of a state for all generations to come, exposed to all the risks to be called traitors, as we are called by the Russian opponents, but our country is today a NATO member and is negotiating its membership with the EU. It has a strategic partnership with the United States, has opened doors in all EU member countries. It is presiding over OSCE, and this is our Macedonia that needs courageous leaders that will be bold enough and become members of the European front and put an end to the Russian impact and influence in the country. Prime Minister, at the dinner, the High Representative of the United States maybe this should not be said at an event like this, but O'Brien said this at a press conference as well. He said that the government of the United States position is there are places in Europe we have forces that he publicly said what they stand for the European front, and we also have other forces that have not made it clear just as yet what they stand for, and we would like to hear what they want. Are they more inclined to a Russian or a European front? And the European front sees only one way ahead of us, and that's what we all strive for. It depends on all of us together where our joint Macedonia will be in future. Will it be European or Russian? Thank you.